Is Apple stock a buy going into its upcoming earnings? Well, stick around because in this video, we're going to divulge into some information and some insight to give you guys a better idea of what I expect from Apple in their next report. Let's go. Welcome back, guys, to another video. My name is Nick, and on this channel, we cover personal finance, stock market videos, and investing videos. If you like any of these topics, make sure to join the community and hit that subscribe button down below. Now let's get into the video. Now, as most of you know, especially those that follow the channel, I am very bullish on Apple this year, especially in this first quarter where I expect services and iPhone X sales to completely blow out any estimates that analysts have set. I think that Apple is going to have a phenomenal year this year. So what I decided to do was kind of do some research as to the numbers that I plan to expect for their earnings coming up in about a couple weeks time. And what I did here was I looked at Amazon.com bestseller lists in a couple of categories to get an idea of what people purchased over the holidays to see if we have a lot of Apple, specifically iPhone X products in those bestseller lists. Now this will kind of give me some insight as to how Apple as a company would be doing in the last quarter, because if people are purchasing products related to Apple, that means that they are purchasing Apple products as well. Now these bestseller lists are typically third-party sellers and nothing to do with Apple at all, so Apple's not necessarily going to get any revenue from that, but like I said, it is a good indicator to see how Apple products are doing as a whole. So the first thing that I looked at was the best sellers for cell phone and accessories. So what I did here was I looked for specific products that relate to iPhones. So that could be cases, screen protectors, cables, or any accessories that only work with iPhone products. So if we take a look here at the top 20 bestsellers in this category, you can see that 12 out of 20 products were specifically designed for Apple iPhones. So Apple claimed the number 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, and 18 spot in the top 20. Now out of these 12 spots, number 8 and number 13 were specifically iPhone X products. So just think of that. Out of all the products available in this category on Amazon.com, 2 of the top 20 were related directly to iPhone X. And 12 out of the top 20 were related to other iPhone products. So even if iPhone X sales still beat by a small margin, we'll still see a lot of revenue come in, I think, from the other iPhone products like the iPhone 8. Now if you look at the top 50, you can see here that the trend pretty much continues. 26 out of the 50 top best sellers on this category was specifically for Apple products. Once again, rank 32 and 38 were specific for iPhone X products. Now, if you just stop and think about how much product Amazon sells on a given day, especially during the holiday season where they set records, no doubt about that, iPhone accessories really had a strong footing here because a lot of consumers most likely purchased Apple devices and they needed new accessories for that, especially like cases and screen protectors. Now, as a contrast, Google also released their Pixel 2 flagship phone late last year. I believe it was sometime October, but you don't see any of these top 20 products being specifically for Google Pixel 2 products. So it's pretty clear that the demand is still there for iPhones and people are still going out there and purchasing iPhones and purchasing accessories for it as well. And the last thing I really want to touch about the iPhone X specifically is that this is the most expensive iPhone that Apple has ever released. This means that their profits will also be the highest that they've ever had on any previous iPhone. So now moving on to look at other products that Apple sells and to get an idea of how they did over the holiday season, I looked at the best sellers in the electronics category. So this includes thousands upon thousands upon thousands of products all across Amazon.com in the electronics section. Now if you look here, you can see that Apple managed to get a spot in the top 50 with number 46 going to the Apple 4K TV. Numbers 57, 59, 64, 65, 69, and 75 were also Apple or Apple-related products. So I personally was surprised to see that the Apple 4K TV made the top 50 bestsellers in the electronics section. Now, if you just think about how many units that is, it's probably up in the millions. So I can come to this conclusion where I think that this product was specifically overlooked by investors, and the numbers on this will provide a huge beat in their upcoming earnings report. Now, in addition to this, Apple sells other products as well, like the iPads, Apple Music, you have your MacBooks, your iMacs, and even your Apple Watches. Now, there are probably other products that Apple sells as well, but you guys get the point. So the numbers last quarter for all these products across the board were outstanding and beat analysts' expectations. And I don't think that this past quarter will be any different, especially since that it was the holiday season and especially since consumer spending was at an all-time high this season. So I also want to take a couple minutes here and address the App Store. So you can see from this article here that App Store purchases rose 35% in 2017, and Apple reportedly keeps 30% of this revenue. Now think about this. They've made between December 24th and December 31st around $890 million in app purchases all across the board. And on New Year's Day alone, there were around $300 million in sales and app purchases. Now, if Apple keeps 30% of this revenue, this means that they've got hundreds of millions of dollars just in App Store revenue with apps that they don't even create themselves. So Apple has money coming in from all different sides, and this is all going to help them provide a massive beat, in my opinion, in their upcoming earnings. This also kind of shows us that the Apple ecosystem is stronger than ever, and Apple is well on track to making itself the first $1 trillion company in the world. Now, the last thing I want to touch upon here is the services business of Apple. Now, if you watched my video that I made after Apple's Q4 earnings last year, you can take a look at that up here. I'll leave a link. It pretty much goes over that Apple's services business drove massive growth in the last quarter. Their revenue for the last quarter for services was $8.5 billion, where analysts expected around $6.32 billion. So for those of you that are curious, this is about a 34.5% beat, which is absolutely ridiculous for a company of this scale. So the one thing that I want to note here is that the services business is very lucrative for Apple, and they make a lot of profits from this business. And as this business continues to grow, this will only add to their $260 billion plus cash balance that they have on hand. Alright, so to sum up this quarter, you can see here that analysts expect an EPS around 3.75 versus 3.36 from the same period last year. And based on their last earnings call, Apple expects around $84 to $87 billion in revenue for this quarter. So all we have to do now is wait a couple weeks until Apple releases these numbers, and that will give us an idea if Apple will in fact be the first $1 trillion company, especially in 2018, and if they will be able to surpass $200 per share at some point this year. So this week's question comes from user JV9621, and they ask, any thoughts on Ripple? So I personally have not invested a dime in cryptocurrency. I am looking to maybe take a position in Bitcoin at some point, but being in Canada, it does make it a little more difficult to invest in cryptos, especially through Coinbase. So I am seeking other options to get my money in this possible play moving forward. But I want to leave this question up to you guys, the viewers. What do you think about Ripple? What is your opinion on Ripple, and how do you think Ripple will perform this year? Let us know in the comment section down below. But either way, don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.